Hey there, Barry is bringing you something a little bit different than what I usually do with my League content. This is a game that I'm actually kind of addicted to playing right now. It's called Against the Storm. It's basically a city builder and a roguelite built in one. I think so far, let me just check, I've got 14 hours in this game and I only picked this game up a few days ago. There was a free demo. I think there is still a free demo, so you can check it out yourself on the Steam. And it is in early access, and they are planning on doing regular updates. As you can see underneath the play button, the next update is on the 10th of November. But I really just kind of want to showcase it as it's a pretty chill game, and I know you guys like the chill content sometimes when I do the League stuff. So this is going to be primarily geared to people that either like city builders or just want to have some chill background stuff going on, or people just interested in the game specifically. So we'll go into the play, and this is kind of like the world map. Every cycle, these settlements will disappear. You're gathering resources essentially for the smoldering city, which is this place in the middle. And the smoldering city, it has a massive tech tree, so it doesn't look that daunting at the moment, but as you climb higher and higher and higher, you unlock more and more things, whether it's unlocking new buildings, new resources, extra like in-game mechanics, and generally making the progression a little bit easier. So you can see we've got food stockpiles, machinery, and we have artifacts. And all of those are used to upgrade onto the tech tree, and you can find those resources out on the world map. So if I pop down a settlement, like say over here, and start building a map over here on the top left hand corner, you can kind of see rewards 70 food and 19 mechanical parts. So you get quite a lot of resources for doing that. Also, I believe you get more resources for doing higher difficulty. At the moment I am playing on the second hardest, second from top, the difficulty. So we're currently doing a veteran, which unlocks which makes the game harder, but it also unlocks blight, rot, and corruption. And if you're not familiar with that mechanic, I can go through it a little bit. It is a bit of a pain. It uses a lot of wood, which is a very valuable resource that you need to craft buildings and keep the hearth alive in your city. You basically need, during the storm, you're going to need as much wood as possible in order to make sure that people don't abandon your town. So for the first one, you can see on the left hand side we can choose between two options here. We can have 8 lizards or 4 beavers and 4 lizards. So basically each race, there's currently 4 races in this game, and each race has their own specialities. So lizards like the hot buildings, like working in like furnaces and things like that. Beavers, as you can imagine, like working with wood and wood cutting, and there are a few wood cutting production facilities that makes planks and things, and beavers like doing that. There's also humans like doing some of the gathering stuff, the farming, in particular, and brew making. And you've got harpies as well, which like making cloth, and they like doing science things. There are a couple of gathering science buildings, I believe, as well. I can't remember off the top of my head which buildings they are, but yeah, basically the objective of the game is to build reputation, and that's how you basically win a map. And as you complete more and more settlements, this bar on the bottom will fill up, and then eventually you'll get to click the play button, you'll get a bunch more resources, and then the cycle will end, and then you'll basically be starting at the beginning again. But if I zoom out a little bit more, you can see how big this world map potential is. There's a lot to potentially explore per cycle, which I'm hoping to be able to get through once I get more upgrades in the smoldering city. So let's actually do a map. So we can do one where I clicked originally. We can do if I whack it on here, we've got the 4. I like the beavers quite a lot because wood is such a fundamental resource. Wood is feels super important. So when you go out onto, just before you go to a settlement, so you get to choose who you want. Also, you get some embark bit bonuses. So these bonuses get stronger based on how much research. So if you wanted to first playing this game, you're only going to have access to a couple of resources like some wood, some food, and each one costs a certain amount of points. So at the bottom you can see I've got 4 embark points available to spend, and we have, you know, these vegetables, for example, cost 1 embark point. Now, because I've unlocked planks, it's kind of like the tier up production from wood. So wood can get converted into planks, and clay can get converted into bricks, and things like leather can get converted into fabric. So I quite like taking these kind of tier 2 materials, just because it just helps me get towards the mid game a little bit easier, and not necessarily have to worry about too much about making kind of like the really rubbish tier 1 production buildings in order to get to the tier 2 stage. And, you know, as we get more tech, we can get more embark points, and we can make this potentially a bit easier. If you go into the earlier difficulties as well, you can get more points back. If you change the difficulty but quite a lot here. And if we go to the Viceroy, then super hard mode, but I haven't tried that yet. Veteran, I've done successfully a couple of times, failed a couple of times as well. It's kind of tricky, particularly on the some of the really hard maps. So it's embark. So I really like the graphic style of this game. I'll go through that in just a second, actually, because when the game pops up, it's going to tell you what you're going to be dealing with. So you gain 2 resin every time woodcutters cut down a tree. That's actually really good. Resin is a resource that can be used to solve glades, which I'll go through soon. And here are like the debuffs. So as you accumulate more villagers, as you cut down more trees, you basically make the forest angry, and if you make the forest angry, bad things happen in terms of making the people in your town very unhappy. It can basically kill some people. It can make production very slow. I mean, for this one, villagers with this effect have 5% chance to perish every 15 seconds, and that is if you don't have a service, which is, I think, like things like taverns and bathhouses and things. So that's if you hit 5 on the unhappiness scale on the forest, and there's even a 6th one here as well, where 5% chance to perish every 15 seconds, and you need 2 services to make sure that people don't perish if you were on 6 on the unhappiness. We do have some bonuses here. We've got 15% faster woodworking, and the fuel lasts a little bit longer in the hearth. And the hearth is this giant blue building here, and that is where the villagers will rest, and this is basically the most important building in the game. If you don't look after this hearth, you will lose the game, essentially. At the bottom, we've got 2 bars here. We've got Reputation, and we have the Queen's Impatience, I believe it's called. Yeah, Queen's Impatience. So if this red bar fills up all the way to the top, I also lose and have to start again if I want to, or I can move my settlement to a different area on the world map. And if every time we get one of these blue diamonds at the bottom, we get to unlock a new blueprint. So at the start of the game, you get 3 blueprints to choose from, and this is where the kind of the roguelike element comes in. I have to choose one of these buildings. You do get unlock reroll potentials as well as you unlock more talents. So I've got 1 free reroll if any of you think these things don't look too great. I'm gonna go with the kiln here. Coal is really good. It burns. I think that the ratio for that, for wood to coal and then burning it at the hearth, is like really good, but this is kind of like a mid to late game building. I won't necessarily be building it straight away, but we take the kiln anyway. So here are some starter kind of resource buildings here. Forager's camp, herb garden, small farm, and tavern. So the herb garden and the small farm require fertile land, so if I just close this, there isn't any fertile land here, which is basically, it will look like grass basically, and you can build upon the grass. And we don't have that, so I'd be more inclined to take the forager's camp, just in case we don't get much fertile ground, essentially. And once again, we've got some more mid-game buildings. I mean, the brick house, the brickyard's pretty good. At the start of the game, the conversion rate on resources is really bad. Like, you have to spend a lot of logs to make planks, for example, in the starter buildings. But the bricks, the brickyard has a much better conversion ratio. It also allows us to unlock crystallized dew, which is a metal bar, and that's not too hard to actually accumulate, and we can use the ingots from that later on. So I'm not really too concerned about like the bakery. That's quite a high tier building, like a tier 3 building. the brickyard is basically a tier 2, and I don't really want to venture past tier 2 at this very early stage in the game. Right, at the very start of the game, you can build a road. So the dirt path increases villager movement speed by 5%. So that helps outline that as well, because the villagers will always be accumulating at the half. And if there's no way to get to them, then they start like taking very awkward long paths around, which we don't want to happen. And also at the start of the game, we're going to want to have 2 woodcutters. So put one down here, and we can put another one over here. And what I want to tell it to do is I want the people, when we assign gatherers, we can assign trees for them to cut. So we do a line here and a line here, and once we discover these areas, it should unlock new resources. So it'll give me more information about what buildings and things like that we're going to want to unlock. So any villagers that aren't assigned into buildings, they'll essentially act as builders, and that's indicated by the little hammer symbol in the middle as the workers free. Also, that the little house with the cross between it means that they're homeless. So we need to build some houses as well. So we're going to have to build. We've got enough wood to build 1 house, so we'll do that. And then also we can gather one of these resources. We've got a nice little. We can hit both these node resources in one go, and we'll build a path up to that. We want to assign beavers to woodcutting, because as mentioned earlier, beavers have a bonus to woodcutting. We'll whack a lizard on that last one then. Okay, so we're going to speed it up just slightly while we wait for them all to start building. And we've got our first cornerstone. So every new day, you basically get something called a cornerstone. And this gives a beneficial effect to your town. So you can get a few of these. You can also buy some from traders as well, which we'll go through later once we build that. But generally, the buffs here can potentially be almost ridiculously too strong. So do keep an eye out for these. The main one I'm kind of looking at is the herb production one's quite good if I have fertile land and I'm going to be gathering that, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. And also creating training gear and making pies is like very late tier 3 kind of stuff. So I'm going to re-roll this. I need something for a little bit earlier. There's one here that gain 10 amber, which is the currency, is essentially gold every time a villager dies or leaves, which could be kind of handy if we do end up in a situation where villagers end up leaving en masse, which can happen if they get very unhappy due to the storm. Tanning Rex plus 2 leather production could potentially be quite handy. Herb and root production is gained, so we're not going to be able to get biscuits for a very long time. So basically we're picking between the 1 and the 2 here. I think we'll go. We haven't actually got any leather production, and I'm not sure how soon we're going to have that. So I'm going to take. It's kind of a weak one really, but 10 amber every time a villager leaves or dies. It's actually quite hard to kill villagers in this game. So you can see these glades here. The ones that are kind of blank are generally safe. There's nothing to worry about. And these ones with the skulls are a little bit more dangerous, and then you've got those big ones as well. There's ones where it can potentially villagers can die if you don't meet the requirements in order to solve the issue that's in that glade. So we're going to have a look at orders here. So at the very start of the game you get to choose 3 orders. These get progressively harder as the game goes on, so you get to unlock new things. So this one is have at least 6 lizards, and then you unlock a trapper's building, which would be very helpful. And then another tanning rex. So we didn't pick the other one. They do stack actually the perks if you've got the same one. So leather production and insects. This one over here has parts, which is really useful in making gathering buildings. Apart from farms, I will say don't require parts, and farms can actually be very strong because it means that you get to save on some parts. The requirement for this is very easy. Let me just check how many lizards I've got. I've got 5, so I won't be able to meet this requirement just yet, but at the end of every day, you'll get a new bunch of villagers joining your town, so we'll be able to complete this on the next day, I'm sure. And I would like to unlock the Trapper's Camp for free. And we've got another one here. Solve any 2 glade events. Get a simple box of tools, 10 planks and 3 new villagers. Get 15 copper ore, means your copper bar production goes up. You get coal, which is going to be very valuable early on in the game in terms of being able to keep the hearth fired up. 6 simple tools, so I'm going to go with the copper ore. 2 glade events sold, or making 5 packs of building materials. Plank production goes up by +1, that seems extremely valuable. 20 bricks, okay, we're going to go through this option. We're going to try and make 5 packs of building materials later on. So this first one's going to be super easy to do. These next 2 are going to take a little bit longer. Generally, there seems to be an option where there is an easy one that you can opt into. An easier option of the order, and then a slightly harder one, and the slightly harder one seems to give generally a slightly better reward for taking the effort to do the slightly harder one, if that makes sense. Just build some more roads leading up, because we will be eventually moving up into these glades anyway, and we've got one person doing not much at all, so... In fact, we should probably tell the one person that's not really doing anything to build some more houses, because the storm is will be coming soon. And we've got a couple of homeless people, and they won't be too happy. Sometimes they're having a rest at the hearth, so they won't build until they're done with their cup of tea. There we go. That's one of the homes going to be built. So later on, you can actually build specialized homes to increase the happiness specifically for a specific race. So you can get a human house, a beaver house, and the lizard house. You can also get a harpy house, but I haven't unlocked that one yet. What we've got here, we've got a copper vein, which we'll be able to use to get the copper ore required for the order. We've also got some berries here, and we've got some more roots. Nothing too exciting. Usually these little glades are just a minor kind of help. So we're going through the drizzle, and then the next storm's going to be in 3 minutes. We should be fine. First storm generally is manageable. You can keep cutting into these glades too. And also you can tell them to avoid opening glades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell them to prioritize this little area here, but tell them not to accidentally break into a glade. So when after the storm is done, we're going to go into this small challenge, dangerous glade, and we're going to try and see if we can complete this early on, because that will give us a huge boost early on. Because we don't just want to be, you know, using these tiny glades, because the resources we lose out pretty quickly. Like, these resources will get drained up, especially once we get more and more people into our town. We still have one homeless person, so we're going to try and build something for them. Let's build the brickyard now. I want to try and get it nearer the storage. Can we fit that in there? Brilliant. And then also build a home. So basically with this one person that's not really doing much, I want them to just set up the foundation for when the new people come. Because I don't want to... There's no other buildings that they can work in, so I might as well get ready for the influx of villagers coming in a few minutes. So I'm not going to actually assign anyone here just yet. I'm also going to make it so that bricks can be made from both clay and stone, since we're going to need a lot of bricks anyway. We don't need to start making crystallized dew or pottery just yet. Pottery is way further down the line. Crystallized dew is used for making tools. We are probably... So the storm's just started, so we're going to probably want to have a crude workstation still to be able to make planks. So the lizard's resolve has gone down to 0. Mainly because of the storm, I'm assuming. We can make it so that we have less or fewer woodcutters. And that should take off the red a little bit here to put this down into 0 on the forest's enrage. So pushing it down to 0, it's made them happier basically. So the forest isn't quite as mad. It's nearly ticking over there into level 1. But because we managed to keep it at level 0 by taking off a woodcutter, all is fine. Alright, I'm going to tell the lizards to make fabric and planks from this crude workstation. The ratios are terrible, 8 logs to 2 planks, whereas if you had like a carpenter, I believe it's like 5 to 2. So the ratios here in this crude workstation in this tier 1 building is absolutely awful, but we do need the planks and we need some fabric coming in order to be able to make some of the tier 2 buildings. So we've already got the copper ore. In some of the difficulties, trees actually give you a varied amount of resource. So for example here, these copper vein trees has a 60% chance to give you wood, 10% chance to give you copper, 5% chance to give you resin, and 5% for plant fibers. So we've actually without actually having to physically mine this copper ore here, we've actually got them just naturally from the trees. So that's actually really handy. And that gives us, when we make copper bars later on, we'll get +1 production on that. We're getting 15 coal early on and 6 simple tools. And we get 1 reputation. So every time you get a reputation, you're also taking 1 off the Queen's Impatience. So if you look at the bottom, the red bar, if I deliver this, you can see how blue bar went up, red bar went down. And because we met a diamond requirement on one of these little notches at the bottom, we get to choose another building. Ooh, a lumber mill would be really, really good, because that would mean we wouldn't have to rely on that rubbish tier 1 building in order to make planks. But this building's overpowered. The main reason why this plank building the carpenter's overpowered is because not only can you get planks and okay ratio, but the simple tools. The simple tools are probably the most valuable resource in the entire game, and you can get it quite early on. So huge tip if you're playing on the higher difficulty, simple tools is something that you want to look out for, okay? We won't actually have the means to be able to quite make them yet, because they do require either the crystallized dew, which is like the blue ingots, or copper ingots. But once we can start production on that, we can start churning out simple tools, and simple tools are very, very, very helpful. So we'll unlock the carpenter. I'm actually going to delegate that to be, if I move this woodcutter's camp, and get the carpenter down. There we go. And because it's new day, that storm just ended, we get another cornerstone and we get to choose some new villagers. I highly advise you choose the cornerstone first, because sometimes there's some cornerstones that affect new villagers coming in. So if you choose the villagers first, then the cornerstone, you could potentially miss out on some added bonuses. Some woodworkers can't just stop working. Gain 3 barrels to every 10 planks produced. That's pretty good. Every 5 villagers with the need for education fulfilled. Okay, education is like end tier, so I won't be worrying about that just now. The settlement is known as a trading hub in the region. Gain 1 reputation point every time you sell goods worth 60 amber, but reputation gain from resolve is slower by 50%. So resolve is, if you, on the top left hand corner, if you meet, there's a little blue bar, I don't know if you're able to see it or not, on the around the portrait. If you meet that blue bar or go higher, you get resolve, which is this blue, you get reputation from resolve, and it fills up this bar, the blue bar at the bottom, like slowly. So it's another way that you can fulfill the needs to be able to complete the map. But I think because we are going to be making planks soon and getting extra barrels, which we can even use ourselves or sell at the trading post later on, I feel like this is going to be the most beneficial for us. So we get to choose villagers now. We can have 1 human and 2 beavers, which I think is super nice, because I don't really care about the amber at the moment as well. So we get 10 extra food and we get 3 planks. And humans, we won't be able to do too much with them just yet, but if we get a farm going, humans love working on farms, so keep an eye out for that on any of the other glades. And we still, although I didn't take a lizard needed for this this objective here, so we're probably gonna have to wait another day in order to fulfill that order. Right, so I'm just gonna slow the game down a little bit. We've got 1 homeless beaver, so I would like to be able to build a shelter for them so they don't get too sad. Now bricks, we still don't have the materials to actually make bricks at the moment, so we're just going to put that on hold and not put anyone inside that right now. Construction, we need, how many planks do we have? We've got 2 planks, and we don't have enough fiber yet. Do we have much is in the bank? If we don't have any fabric, So for now, we just need to keep going into these glades. I'm actually going to build... Let me see if I can find the building. The rain collector. We've got 2 planks, which is just enough. But that should help a little bit. Because that gathers up a material that we might have to use in order to solve one of these dangerous glades. So if I open another glade here, there's some wheat and some reeds here. And how many spare people have we got? I've only got 2 spare people, so I don't necessarily want to build straight into that just yet. I don't think we're going to be quite ready for this. But we can maybe give it a try. Let's avoid opening the glade uncheck, and then let's let them dig through him. Let's give it a go. Because we're playing on a harder difficulty, we're going to be basically accumulating something called blight rot on these buildings. So the more things that we produce, the blight rot cysts will spawn and start damaging the hearth. If you get too many of them, then you can lose the game that way as well. And we'll have to build a building called the blight post, which we do have enough resources for. We might need to start preparing for already. So I'm going to get this building set up as well and prepped ready for when we have to deal with that. A couple of things have happened all in one go. So we've got 2 orders here. Reach standing level 1 with 2 settlements and trade routes, but I'm not really focused on trading just yet. Happy humans, that might be easier to do. 2 additional humans will come with each group of newcomers. There are positives and negatives to that, because the more people that you have, yes, you can run more buildings and have more production, but they will use more food, and food can be a limited resource on the map. And then if people don't get fed, then they start leaving the town, and then every person that leaves will accumulate negative standing with the queen, and if the red bar fills up too much, then you lose the game. But I don't really like doing the trading routes, so I'm going to still opt into happy humans. Have a brewery, get a 35 ale, and then you unlock the tavern. Gather 50 roots, which would be much easier than 5 beavers, 10 planks, and 15 ale. Just because that is so far down the route of happy brewing, I'd rather get this. 50 roots seems much more manageable. And as I said, we got into one of these more difficult glades now. So fortunately, because of the buff on this map, I think it was the extra resin. We got loads of resin, 90 resin we can use on this graveyard. If we fail to sort this graveyard out, all my goods will be worth 50% less to traders, and also we would gain 1 impatience point, which is bad. While we're working to fix this up, we're going to get 40 hostility points every 60 seconds, which is the forester's anger. So the forest is going to get really angry with us until we've solved this. And now I need to choose the rewards. We're definitely going to be fixing this. So I'm going to take the 2 people off of this, because I don't need the spark dew. Assign these 2 to this event. And then we can choose to either keep 5 ancient tablets, which you can use for some orders, and you can sell for gold. Gain 3 incense for every 10 roots produced. Workers carry 5 more items to glade events. So this counts as a glade event, so to make future glade events easier. I think we should take this option. And then let's get started. Now it's going to take 3 minutes 30 once they put the resources into the building in order for it to be complete. If I had spare sea marrow, I could sacrifice sea marrow at the hearthstone to actually make it faster, but unfortunately we don't have any of that. But another thing on the hub actually, which I've just forgotten about, is that we can increase the hub level by adding some decorations. So we're going to add 4 basic decorations, which only cost a little bit of wood. You can just dot those around anywhere, and that will make the area a little bit stronger, more resolve for the townsfolk. And we've opened up this glade over here, which actually has fertile land, so I actually kind of want to get this sorted out now. I don't have any spare builders at the moment. Once those two people have finished doing that glade event, then we can start telling them to help build on this. I've actually told the woodcutters to cut this area out here, the highlighted area. Well, first it's quite nice to get into this extra glade here, but there's some fertile field under the trees, so we just need to like chop that down so that we can actually use more of that. Get more yield essentially per day. Okay, so it's going to take 2 minutes 20 to get rid of this graveyard, and fortunately the next storm isn't for another 3 minutes, so this storm won't be too bad, because we should be able to get this down to quite a low number. Otherwise it would be really, really scary if we were working on this during the storm, because the hostility of the forest would be super, super high level, and people would start leaving our town, and then we not only would lose villagers, but also the Queen's impatience would get higher and higher. So how are we doing on the resources here on the crude workstation? We've got 22 planks. I want to stop making planks now. We can continue making fabric if we do come across that, but I'm not interested in the planks. And in fact, because they're not actually going to be able to build any fabric because we don't have the materials, I'm going to take these guys off, and then they can start building buildings that are needed in the area. There's quite a few resources in this glade that we've opened up. We could end up making this a secondary hub, but there isn't... I mean, the resources here aren't... I can't even gather these herbs, so I don't have the correct building unlocked for that yet. We can only get these eggs, and these sea marrows are quite near to the base anyway, so I don't really need to add a storage unit and another half in order to like expand the civilization. I think my main concern is that food is at a negative rate slowly, but it will become an issue I think soon. Also, I'm going to assign one beaver house here, because we're going to get an influx of people on the next turn, on the next day, so I want to be sure that we're ready for that. I'm also going to assign one lizard to work in this building, and we're going to put a limit of 5, a limit of 6 on the purging fire. So they're going to make flamethrowers, which will be used to burn out the cysts essentially if there are any during the storm. They only come out during the storm. So this building got finished. We're just taking the resources that we've earned, and now it's disappeared. So we don't have to worry about that. That's that one glade complete. So far so good. My only concern is slightly that the lizard's resolve is dipping quite low into 9. So now the storm is broken, and I'm just wondering how low that's going to go. It's going to go to a 1. That's fine. As long as it's above 0, they're not going to leave. Okay. They're almost grumpy, right? So right now we're just waiting for the storm to kind of pass. We could potentially assign someone to make planks from this building, because now it's 5 logs to 2 planks, as opposed to 8 logs to 2 planks. So you can see how the tier 2 building makes the resource management a lot easier. So we'll allow one beaver to dip into our wood supply in order to make some more planks, so that we don't need too many later on. So we do have 2 people doing not a lot right now. They can expand this farm field, so we can see we've got this farm field fully expanded out. I don't have a farm building unlocked, so I can't actually farm here, but it's all prepped up and ready for when needed. We've got some other small resources here, some stone, some copper, some minor resources. So soon we're going to want to break into another one of these dangerous glades. Trying to figure out where the next easiest one is in terms of closeness. I mean, we could go... The problem is, okay, is that if we go into this dangerous glade here, my resource station, my main storage station is all the way back over here. So lugging materials back and forwards from here is quite far. So I'm just wondering if I should maybe just push this woodcutter's camp up doing something like this, adding a path, and then we can add a storage unit here. Is there like a midway point? Seems like that might work. Alright, so we get it's a new day, so we get a new cornerstone. Read production +2. Religion. Or villagers learn how to travel in the wilderness from the best, the royal stormwalkers. Trade routes are faster by 40%. Now we haven't even set up the trade stuff, and I don't think the trade routes being faster is that much of a game changer. So we'll take +2 read production just in case we pick up some reads. There's nothing really that crazy going on there. And we get new people. We're going to get one more lizard on either one of these to meet that 6 out of 6 lizards orders that we've got up there. More planks, which we don't really need. And also on this side we're going to get 1 extra villager, which I'm kind of liking early on. 2 humans, 1 lizard, 1 beaver. So we'll accept that. And also the plant fibers are going to be really useful because it means we can make a bit more fabric, even though this crude workstation is pretty bad. That will help us produce some more buildings. So we've got 2 homeless people, so let's try and resolve that. Let's see what we've got in terms of resources. We've got 10. Okay, let's do a human house. So only 2 people can fit into a one of these specialized houses, but it will make them a little bit happier when they've got their own kind of faction house. And we're done with the lizards, which means we've unlocked Trapper Camp, and we're going to get leather production and insects. So it's another reputation, which means I think we've unlocked another building. Perfect. I was about to say we've got fertile land and we need a building to actually gather stuff from that. So we've got a couple of options here. We've got the herb garden, which gives us roots and herbs, and I believe, yeah, we got a quest there for roots. And did I take something earlier involving roots? I'm just trying to remember what that was. Let me have a look at these buffs in the bottom left hand corner. I remember seeing something about roots, but maybe we didn't take the option. Let's go back over to the reputation. So the plant fibers and the berries, in terms of resources, overall resources, you get more because they've got higher star level, and plant fiber can be used for a lot of things like cloth making. Berries can be eat the berries by themselves, or that can get converted into wine later. I don't know if we're going to be going into that or not, but the plant fibers in particular are quite useful for the cloth making, so I think we'll take the plantation. Although just eyeing up this herb garden, roots and herbs. Herbs are used in a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 foods. Maybe the tier 3 foods like pie and maybe biscuits. Oh, this is like the actual roguelike coming in. Do I want plant fiber for cloth, or do I want herbs for food? I think we might be able to make leather later on, and we've got that leather buff, don't we? And leather can be converted into cloth, or fiber, should I say. I think it's called fiber. No, it's not called fiber because that's called fiber, but the cloth basically. So I think we're going to actually go with the herbs so that we can make the higher quality food later on, and these roots will help us get this beaver influx order done. So let's go to the herb garden. The great thing about, as I mentioned earlier, the gardens and the farms don't require parts. So they are basically amazing generating buildings with extremely low cost. Okay, so those builders will start building that. We're going to start making up our way towards this area. I think we can go straight into it. I'm not too bothered. If we have a storm when we go and try and sort out that situation, we should be fine. I'm actually going to pull this wood camp near... just trying to eye up what I want to do here. Something like that. Because I've already cleared out this area that I wanted to do. And bringing this woodcutter's camp nearer to the hearth, nearer to a storage, will make them gather wood a little bit quicker. And you can't really have too much wood. So we can have a trapper's camp over there to gather these eggs as well. But I'm actually kind of eyeing up this sea minnow just so that we can get the resource. Not only can you use it as a burning tool for the hearth, but also you can use it to sacrifice, as mentioned earlier, to make these harder glade events go through a little bit quicker, so it's not as painful. So there's a lot of resources here, so 100% chance to get sea minnow and 40% chance of stone. So we kind of get some stone anyway, which then can be used for bricks. So we're still making planks from this building. Actually, I want to change that so that we can also use crystallized dew in order to make these simple tools that we talked about earlier. And also because we are going to be getting stone eventually from these buildings here, we'll just assign some people. I need to start assigning someone to make bricks. Okay, we've broken into this glade and it's another graveyard, which is pretty good news for us because it requires resin and we're getting a bajillion resin from this map, so it's making these things super easy, and there's lots of fertile fields over here. So this is a really good area to actually build up. There's lots of fertile field, there's a huge amount of herbs here which we can't gather, which is taunting us. Some roots here, and there are some berries which once again we can't gather because we don't have a herbalist camp. We will be entering into the storm sort of soon, but I think it's going to be manageable. I think we can just try and resolve this straight away. The negative impacts are still the same, so the forest is going to get really angry while we're working on this. Glades are examined more carefully. You gain 20 pottery every time you discover a new glade. Gain 3 incense for every 10 roots produced. Okay, I want to keep this. I don't want to send this back to the Citadel, even though we would get 1 reputation and take some of the edge off the red bar, just because these things here are very, very useful. Also, the crystalline dew, that is a huge amount of crystalline dew, and that will give us access to actually start crafting these simple tools. So we'll be able to get about 20 simple tools, which is a huge amount. And then these simple tools can be used, you can use them on the events if you have to, if you don't have the resources, which could be useful. But you can open up these abandoned caches and you can get resources from them, or you can send them back to the Citadel anyway for reputation. So we're definitely going to use those because we could maybe open, say, 2 of these caches, get about 40 amber and 1.5 reputation eventually from this 30 crystallized dew alone, or we could get the 1 reputation immediately. But I'm thinking of the long game here because we're also getting these extra buffs here too. So we'll keep the goods. We'll assign 2 people to head over and start sorting that out right now. And soon we can start sacrificing the minnow as well to make it go a little bit faster as well. We've just got some coming in right now. Do we have any spare workers? We don't, but I do want to get a path built up to here anyway. We had 2 new orders coming through. Rain collector, spark dew equals better bar production. And here we've got religion. If you fulfill religion 60 times, and you get an ancient artifact. Is that 3 of those? When soaked in water, it radiates warm light and brings encouragement to the beings around it. Gets 3 global resolve. Now I don't know if that's... I think that's just 3 global resolve. I don't think that means it's 3 of those ancient artifacts, because that would be insane, giving +9 happiness to everybody. Grain production don't really care about, because I don't have any way to produce grain, although it is a good perk if you are. And then 40 herbs. So the easiest one to complete is this one on the left, and I think I'd rather complete that one as the religion's going to take ages to do it anyway, so I'd rather just select that one. And then lizards happiness, packs of provision, better meat production, more lizards, 8 parts. Wine, a guild house, and then you can make more wine to make beavers happier, better wine production. I am not gathering berries, so we're just going to try and make the lizards happy in order to meet this requirement. So you get the orders are starting to pile up a bit, and that's fairly normal. Having even been left with a few orders at the end of the game is absolutely normal. Okay, so how are we doing over here? 3 minutes to go on the completion. Okay, so I won't need to use any Seamino because this event will complete just before the storm starts. So I just let them do what they're doing here. That's going to be completed, and then we've done another meaning, whatever this one's called. I can't remember what these ones are called. Dangerous Glades. And then we can start building up. We can maybe look to building another storage unit over here. Get a lumber camp around here, clear out this area, and then we can build a half as well up there. I think that's going to be the game plan. Don't have any people spare, and I need some humans actually to work into this building. Do I have any humans spare? Let's see where all the humans are working. So there's one in that stonecutter's camp, there's one in that brickyard, there's one in the crude workstation. Do I still need the crude workstation? I believe you're not doing anything, so let me take you off and let you work in the farm. And maybe we can take that human off that one too. There's no more roots or things in that scavenger camp. There's some roots down here and up here. Okay. So we're going to start gathering these roots since we've mined out all the roots that are near us here. We're kind of just waiting for the storm to pass basically, and then get more people, and then we better do a little bit more in our town. So I'm just going to speed it up a little bit more, and we're going to try and get into day 4. Our wood situation is doing really well. The food is one of the things I'm a little bit concerned about. Once we hopefully get this farm set up, it will help a little bit. And actually that reminds me, we need to also assign that these farm fields get tended to as well. So storm's about to come in. And this graveyard just got completed just in time, but people are unhappy. You can ban extra wood in order to try and make people happier, because it then takes off the level of the hostility. Let's see if we can do that. Just to make sure that nobody leaves. And now we're going to be able to start making, once we get those crystallized dew inside, we can start making simple tools, and I'm going to put that on a higher priority. Right, this lumber camp has no trees nearby. Let's bring this up and see if we can try and clear out this area. Okay, so the next day started. Day number 4. Okay, we're not doing that. +1 to all wood production, but lose all store fuel upon picking this cornerstone. I'm not wanting to lose 362 logs. That's a no. Huge no. Discovering Glade gives 5 simple tools, but woodcutters have -5 to resolve. Let's not do that either. Every 2 burnt blight rock assists lower hostility by 10. Okay, that's fine. We've already got that set up with these flamethrowers. I'm sure I'll be able to showcase that on the next storm. And we have the option between herbs and pottery or insects. I think I need more humans, but both sides have humans. I would kind of like another beaver for wood cutting. So I'm going to take the beaver. Right, we'll slow down a little bit. We've got a slight homelessness situation. So let's build another human house. And we will want to potentially assign 1 more person on these tools, another beaver. Get those tools flowing in. And how many tools do we have? We've got 6 at the moment. Also, we're going to want to build another herb garden over here. So that's the storage facility set up here. Now we just want to have a half, and these buildings are massive. See if we can fit that in, and we can. Beautiful. So this is going to be our secondary hub. I'm going to get another... both the woodcutters are going to be working in this area, and we're going to clear out this area just so it gives us more space. Oh, I just noticed I'm still sacrificing wood, so I was burning through wood at a much further rate than needed. Also, we can upgrade this hub to the next level, and for that we're going to need 4 more comfort decorations and 4 of the aesthetics decorations, and that doesn't really cost too much. So we don't have to be too fancy about this. So 4 blues and then 4 more greens. We add some barrels to change it up a little bit. Barrel, 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 barrel. There we go. Of course, if you wanted to, you could make it a little bit prettier than that. Okay, so this is ready. Do I have any spare humans that can work on this herb garden? Okay, we've got a brick maker here. That's not making any bricks anyway, so let's just take her off there. Fantastic. So that should help our food supply a little bit more, and also we should accumulate more roots ever so slowly in order to try and meet this requirement. If you ever struggle to meet something like this, like the food requirements, you can actually use consumption control if you've unlocked it on the tech tree. And you can actually delegate, so you can say like turn off roots, so they don't actually eat the roots, they'll eat the other food first. I'm not prepared to do that right now because I do have a slight hunger issue and they will need to eat the roots. So I'm going to allow that just for now. Also we can build, what do we want to build here? Let's build a trapper's camp for over here. We'll assign some lizards just to take these eggs. But so far so good. I think soon we'll be ready to go into another harder glade, or we can try a super hard glade. It can be a bit risky, but the rewards are much bigger, so I'm kind of tempted in order to moving into that area. And what you'll notice is, at least the way I play it is, we'll kind of slowly progress at the start and then it will shoot up really quickly in terms of progression. In terms of the reputation in order to complete the map. Okay, so we need to assign someone at this half. Let's assign a lizard, so the lizards will be a bit more happy working in a hot area. Also, I'm going to want to start making buildings in this area too, some houses, in order to be able to have population at this half in order to upgrade. Let's build one lizard house. We don't have enough bricks for that just yet. Right, another order has come through. 50 scrolls and a temple. And then you get these resources here. Pack of 15 of each pack of provisions. I think this one's the easier one to do, but it's still pretty difficult to get 15 packs of each. We haven't even done the trading post yet. So let's actually build a trading post. Plenty of resources for that. And then let's assign also 2 people to work on the spark dew. Okay, so we do have the 50 roots ready. If we hand it in, our food is going to plummet. So I'm just going to check what we actually get for that. We get 50 ale, we get 5 more beavers, 10 planks. But we will be able to unlock another building. Go on then. Okay, so we've got jerky. Jerky is like a food upgrade. Just trying to work out if we... I don't necessarily need the jerky though. Maybe we do a reroll. Let's do a reroll. Now, I've never actually used the market because I've only just unlocked it. So I'm just going to check what this is about. luxury, hygiene. Global carrying capacity is increased by 10. I mean, that's pretty good. I'm going to try and take the market here. Although we have copper bar. Do I have copper bar productions? I don't. And that will help make simple tools. So I'm actually going to take the smelter here. We need bricks. We're having a bit of a brick issue. Actually, no, I've already got a brick maker. I don't need to tell that one to do it. Where is our brick maker? Right here. There's no one working at it right now. Yes, we need more bricks being made, please. And I think I need to assign another worker to this to gather more of the stones. So we're going to have our next storm come through in right now. We've got a population issue actually that we need to resolve immediately. Let's add a couple more beaver houses to this area. Hope they get built pretty quickly, otherwise we're going to have some issues potentially. And our trader just came through. Traders don't stick around for the storm, so we've got 2 seconds here to accept this and see if we want to do anything here. We've got 10 ancient tablets, so you can use them for some of the orders, but we can sell them for 80 amber, which is kind of insane. And we kind of need fabric, so I'm thinking let's sell a couple of these. Let's get all this cloth. And we were having a food issue, so let's try and resolve that by grabbing some of these things. Am I happy with that trade? Is there anything else here that we want? I'm fine with that. That helps out our food situation out. That should keep people happy. We need to burn a little bit more fuel. But we're unable to do that. Sacrifices are blocked until this blight rot is gone. So these are the blight rots, these little blue piranha plants. And that's why I had this blight post set up in order to destroy those. So now we can sacrifice some extra wood. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on 1 and just take 1 woodcutter off. That makes the forest a little bit happier. That should be better than burning through 2 stacks of wood per minute. I need some lizards actually to work on this meat producing building. Just trying to work out where they all are. There's 1 in this rain collector, 2 in this stone camp. Okay. So let's change that to beavers. Because the lizards like working, they get a specialized bonus for the meat from this building. Okay, soon we're going to want to move into this super hard glade. We're going to build a pathway ready for it. And I'm going to build another storage. Just to make that a little bit quicker. Meat specialization. Meat production is increased by +1 for every 25 times it's produced. -40 hostility for every hub upgraded to neighborhood or higher. So that's going to take the edge off the forest being angry at me. So if I pick that, see it's gone down to 1, which is brilliant. And we need to choose some new people. Meat, fiber, 4 humans, which I will take in case we come across more farms. I mean, otherwise we won't have enough humans. We don't have a housing issue. Fantastic. And we can upgrade this hub to neighborhood as well by adding 4 decorations. So just add some barrels there, and then that should take off more edge off the forester's anger towards us as well. So we've got 7 spare workers. We will need to use a couple once we get into this dangerous glade. Okay. Do we have simple tools? Okay, we do have simple tools. Let's send this crate back to the citadel. That will give us a bit more reputation. Okay, so now we've got a super hard one to do. If we fail it, then it spawns 6 pieces of living matter. Woodcutting angers the dead. Gain 10 points of hostility for every 3 cut trees. Okay, so that won't matter if we can resolve this before the next storm, which we should be able to do. This is going to require 25 incense, which luckily we do have. Otherwise we would have had to use simple tools in order to make sure we got this objective done. Gain 3 incense for every 10 roots produced. That's what I was thinking about. So we're getting extra incense for every of the roots that we gather. Or do we want to have 1 reputation with the queen? This red bar's starting to fill up quite a lot. I'm actually going to take the incense, plus incense, right? I think every single glade from now on, we're going to have to make sure we send it back to the citadel, because I don't think we're going to be able to complete it. So I'm going to be greedy here and take the resources. Oh, and there's another patch of field here too. And we've got a couple of buildings here that we can able to unlock. There's a cloth ear here that can produce coats. So we can assign 1 worker to fix that up, and then we'll be able to use that for ourselves. There's also a camp here where there's 2 people waiting, or 4 people, sorry. Do I want the extra people? No, because we're going to have too many people in our town at this rate, and we're going to have food issues. So we'll send those back to the citadel. We won't get reputation, but we'll get 15 amber, and we'll better use that at the trade post next time a trader comes. Okay, so this scavenger camp is done. Okay, I think so far we're doing pretty well. There's no more trees left to cut down at this woodcutters. Let's cut ourselves towards this dangerous glade here as well then. And we're going to need to build another herb garden here. It's kind of annoying because I think the perfect place would be here, but we can't get it there. So that will just have to do. We can start making coats. Unfortunately, we don't have any harpies, so harpies usually like working in the cloth here because they've got the specialization. And we're going to want to build a hydrant here because we've got some production buildings up here, and they could produce blight, and we need to make sure that that doesn't become an issue. So we've got 2 of our final orders to pick. Have at least 20 humans and we get rewards. Now, how many humans do we have? We have 8. That will take quite a long time to do, but I don't think we're going to do any brawling things later on, so we'll try and see if we can accumulate 20 humans. Ancient tablets, 6. Or +3 global resolve if we get education and scrolls. I think we'll take the 6 tablet one. It's quite an expensive one, but it means it's basically a free reputation. I need 1 more tablet. I sold 5 at the trader, now I kind of regret it. Okay, Lizard's resolve is not looking too good. There's a lot of blight rot to get rid of, so I can't actually sacrifice any wood with the trait that I've got until this blight rot's sorted, so I'm actually having to assign a couple more people to get rid of the blight rot. Okay, fortunately we didn't lose any people. I've had to assign more people to work on the blight rot station because it's taking a bit too long for them to clear it out. Gain 1 reputation every time you sell 60 amber, but resolve is slow by -50. I mean, I don't think I'm getting high resolve anyway, so maybe we'll try not to do some trading in order to get some extra reputation gains. And I think we're going to need to lean towards humans now because of the order that we got. Oh, we got more ancient tablets from taking this resource earlier, so we can take that. Fantastic, that gives us another building unlock. The guild house, what does that require again? Wine. We're not going to be making any wine. I'm going to reroll. I don't like any of those options. Market option again. Oof. And I could reroll a game, but then it's going to cost 10 amber. Let's take the market. And we're going to build one. I'm going to move these annoying posts out of the way. There we go. And we'll pop a market here. Will this count as being in the region? Maybe we can move some of these houses actually. Can I move this blight post station? I cannot. That's a bit of a tease. Also need one more rain collector to sort out this logistics 1, 2. Can't move the bricklay either. Just trying to see if I can make some space here to put the tavern down, but I've got a little bit of a space issue. Or the market down, sorry. Maybe we can build the market in here. And surely that will allow it there. The thing is I'm thinking of here is I need a service building to help upgrade this to the final level. And this market should count as a service building. But because we haven't mined out the southern area here, we don't have that much space to put more buildings in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag back one of these lumber wood cutters and just tell them just to mine out like this area here, and then I can then build the market then. Right, so we've got 5 homeless lizards and 5 homeless humans, so let's try and resolve that now. Let's build houses at this half here so we can try and get to the next upgrade up on this side as well. So let's build lizard house, lizard, and then couple of human houses. We've got lots of bricks and wood and planks and stuff. I'm not really concerned about the material cost. So that should sort out. That should make people happier as well. We're about to get into this hard area as well. So we're going to get -5 global resolve. If this fails, everyone is going to be a lot sadder. We can't send this one back to the queen, but if we do this we get +2 global resolve, which I'm happy to take. We need to sort this out anyway, so let's just investigate, let's send out 2 people and let's get that sorted. In terms of resources, there's not much here apart from these abandoned caches actually, because we're making tools, we can send that to the queen and that will give us 1 reputation. So we're going to start sending out caches, and this is where I kind of said like these caches are really strong. So if you can actually get the production set up to make tools, then it's really, really good. And now we need to actually make more bars. So we're going to try and focus on making bars. So we need the smelter. Get that placed here, next to the storage facility. Right, Stonecutter's camp has no deposits nearby. There's some stone here that they can go gather. They can do that. And what was the other one? Trapper's camp. Okay, so there's nothing there for them to take. The only resource is these extra eggs over here, which are already being worked on, so we'll just make them work on those as well. Okay. So the lizards are actually hit the resolve thing, that's why it's blue. So we're actually getting a minute amount of reputation per minute from these lizards. And that actually put us into 5 reputation. So we can choose one of these options. Tool shop. Tool means these tools would be made at even better rate. But I'm not liking any of these other buildings, and I think that's going to be overkill to just go from 2-star to 3-star. So I'm going to re-roll. We've already got a cloth ear because we unlocked one for free from going into that glade. Ranch could be quite good because that can help us unlock, that can give us meat production and leather production. What's the requirements for these? I've got loads of herbs. I don't have any flour, but I might be able to buy some from the trader. So I might go for the cookhouse, and that will help increase happiness levels potentially too. Right, do we have enough space? If I move this to the other side, can we build that marker that I wanted? That should count, surely, right? If I delete that. That should count as being inside. If it's not, then I'm going to be very sad. Let them work on these skewers. And then, when's the next trader coming in? 8 minutes. He won't sell food either. Okay. And how are we doing over here? So we've done this. We're getting 2 global resolve. There's a lot of extra rocks here as well that we can mine out. Some more smaller packs here as well. So I want to try and get these, build a mine and get some of this copper to help make us some bars. So if I do that, I should probably consider building a storage next to it. And then we can start gathering some copper, which will then help us make those specialized tools that we so greatly need. So the beavers like working in the mine, I believe. Yes, they enjoy engineering. We've got loads of copper ore anyway from the woodcutting, so I'm going to assign 3 higher priority on the copper bars. That should give us a huge amount of copper bars rate in order to keep up the what's going on over here. So lizards are sad. I'm going to take a couple of woodcutters off to try and make the forest less angry at us. Okay, that helped, just taking it off once. Okay, cool. We can assign some people to the market here, which will increase people's global carry rate by 10. This camp is now empty, and I don't think there's anywhere else to gather. So we're going to have to unassign this completely, and we're going to salvage this building, and then we get 3 parts back. Happy humans as well coming through, so we'll accept that. Got a lot of things to choose from now. Every time someone leaves or dies, gain 30 meat. Farmer's favorite dish. Farmers have a 75% chance to produce double yields when under the effects of biscuits. I'm going to take that and see if we can just buy a crap ton of biscuits from the next trader. And what do we need still? We still need more humans, so need 4 more humans to meet that 20 human target. And is there anything here that we need? Not particularly. We can try and take the flower making maybe. Flower making overall is not too bad. For it will be needed for the biscuits and things like that. And I need another one of these rain collectors, even if we just salvage it afterwards just to meet that quest requirement. Woodcutter camp has no trees. Okay, we can sort that out. Just let them carry on cutting down wood in this area. And we're going to actually want to start moving into another harder glade, I believe, just to ramp things up a little bit. There's a really difficult one over there. There's some more little ones around our main base. Let's go for this challenging one over here then. We're starting to have food issues. There's lots of food in this crate here, but we're not making tools. Why? What's going wrong here? I'm not sure exactly what's going on with our tools. Are they just held up here? Oh, they're held up here and they haven't been sent out yet. So I am going to send that back to the Citadel. Assign some people to start working on that. But yeah, food is now an issue. Our population is extremely high. We've got 50 people, which is kind of absurd actually. Is there anything more food that we can try and gather? There's a scavengers camp potential option over here maybe. Stonecutters camp has run out of materials. Yeah, we're starting to really struggle on resources now. Mainly food. Kinda need a trader to come through and then offer us some food, and we'll just buy it all up. We'll buy everything up. We can also get a kiln as well, which will help our wood burning rates as well. Okay, so this market, it either isn't in the zone or it doesn't count as a service building, so we're not going to be able to upgrade this to the next level. Alright, let's take one of these beavers off because they're not going to be doing anything for a while since I don't have any cloth production in. Did I unlock ranch? Ranch would help give us leather, but I don't think we did. No, we did not. Okay. Right, we'll build a scavengers camp up here. We're going to run out of gears. But we've got absolutely no food. When's the next trader coming in? Now. Unfortunately, this trader doesn't offer food, which is a bit of a problem. Any builder can carry 5 items or more at once. Woodcutters move faster. Okay, we'll take that. I want to see what's in the marketplace. Oh, we've got the advanced logistics thing done, which will give us better crystallized dew production. Nothing crazy, mainly just for the reputation. Yeah, so this marketplace, so it needs wine and cosmetics. Cosmetics, that's going to cost 30. That is absolutely fine. So that means we can get this market running, and that will give that will make people happier. Because I'm worried that people as long as people can drink all the wine and have all the cleanliness in the wild, they're not going to worry too much about being starving, right? It's just that's my theory. We've got enough gear to put down one more storage unit, but we don't have enough fabric. Does this guy have fabric? He has leather, which can be converted into fabric. So I'm going to take a massive wad of there. 10, and then one of these should be enough. That's 18. Let's try and take some more resources as well. Let's take some of these herbs. Okay, cool. And then where is our fabric? Okay, I need to stop making coats. No, no more coat making. No, no, no. We need fabric. Do I have a cloth there? I don't think I do. Maybe that's why I'm not making any. Right, we need more fabric. That's going to be at a bad ratio. Oh, there's some people in this camp here. Let's send this back for Amber because well, we really have no food, don't we? I can't even send these people back. Because we sent back one of those crates, we get to have one of these as well. Temple, religion. Let's take the temple. Can we fit the temple in? It's going to be a bit of a squeeze. Maybe if we move... We can't move that building. Can we salvage it? These lamps need moving. And then I might have to chop up some of this road. Temple. Fantastic. Kiln to convert into coal could be handy. We're using a lot of wood. I think I might have to tell people to stop making planks. Pretty sure I don't need any more planks. Maybe we stop making flour. Maybe the flour as well isn't helping. Yeah. Just wondering if I need another lumber camp now just to help keep up with the amount of wood that we're going through. Maybe we just delete this. We'll delete that. It doesn't give us any gears. It gives us some cloth to make this storage facility. And I need to find a gear from somewhere. Any buildings here that we're not really utilizing that uses a gear? Not really. -3 on the lizards right now. Right, let's just unassign some of these woodcutters. That's not enough. We're gonna have to unassign more woodcutters. Okay, that's gonna keep people happy, but I'm not generating any wood. Okay, I'm gonna need to set up another blight post, but I need another gear because this building is covered in blight and no one is deleting it off. How am I gonna get another? I can send this crate back to the Citadel as well. I've got enough tools to do that. Just need to try and find a gear from somewhere. That's the problem I've got right now. Right, let's assign these woodcutters back. And over here as well. Where are more beavers, man? Oh, everything's all over the place. Okay, flame amulets is the most broken OP thing in this game. It's going to make it so that each woodcutter generates 8 less hostility. So it should calm down the forest by a huge chunk. Fantastic. We need to try and break into this glade as well and try and get some of these things resolved as quickly as possible. When's the next trader? 6 minutes? I mean, I can call it immediately. How many more humans do we need? We need 4 humans in order to complete this quest. So let's get those humans in. Wait 30 seconds and then we can hand that in. Let's assign some people to the temple. That should make people happy. We've got a homeless issue as well. Let's get some houses in. A couple of beaver houses. Fantastic. And let's just do like 1 lizard house if we can. Oh, we can do 2 lizard houses. Let's do that. Okay, I'm going to call this trader immediately. It's going to cost 0.5 in patience, but we need a trader so we can get food because we've got a problem. Alright, human is done. Gives us 25 amber and 1 reputation. So we only need like 3.5 reputation now to complete this map. So the end is near. It's just that we're kind of struggling on food quite a lot. And yeah. Right, we've got a trader in. Hello, can I buy all of your food, please? All of the food. All of it? Just give me all. Right, how much is that going to cost? 70 gold. Well, I got 45 there, 3 tablets. I got a lot of... oh my god, that's also a lot. We can sell a lot of this resin. We can buy even more food then, fantastic. Okay. Trade. Food just went up a huge amount. These buildings at the very end of the game don't usually make too much of a difference. So there's these pack of provisions, crops and building materials that we can do in order to try and get another order done. If we want to. Let's also get the makeshift one. Makeshift. Post. To help make some of these packs. We need actually 5 packs of provisions. If we can do that, then that will complete that. And 1 pack of building materials. That's how we can easily win the game. We can also hand in this to the Citadel. So we're just going full out now. I'm just going to put it on full blown. We've basically won now. There's only 0.5 to go. I have 19 tours. We've got multiple avenues here to win the game. So picking up one of these crates, which I was just assigned to, will just that will give 1 reputation. We've got 2. The humans and the lizards are super happy, and we're getting reputation per tick, so that might just do it by itself, which it did. So as you can see, right at the end, everything just goes zoom, mainly because you're just dumping resources and things. So at the very start of the game is quite slow, but then it amps up extremely quickly in terms of being able to finish the game. So that is one of the harder difficulty, not the hardest, but one of the harder kind of maps that we just did. We've got an achievement which gives us more XP. So if we go back to the world map, if we go to the Smoldering City, so the deeds are basically the achievements. Generally, you can unlock some little things from that, but mainly you get XP. And every time you level up, you unlock new buildings, you unlock new tiers and the research. So for completing that city, we only got food. So we've got 73 food. Here, for example, on the embark. So remember when I was choosing planks on the start to go out with, I would unlock the option to take coal and oil with me as well. Over here we could get another cornerstone or blueprint for sale from traders, which is quite useful if there's like a thing that you're missing out on. Factions apparently is a fundamental upgrade. I don't know what factions is, but if we unlock that, I'm sure we'll get to find out what that is too. I can't actually. I can upgrade this one. We can take this one and use up all my resources just to get 2 more blobs up, and that's basically the gameplay loop. Make more citadels or settlements. You level up. You unlock more tech tree. Makes the game a bit easier, but you can also up the difficulty, and also as you venture out deeper in towards the forest, I believe the game does get harder as well. Not sure what these numbers are. I think that represents the factions that we just unlocked. So I guess that will help us navigate around the map a bit easier, and we've got these things at the top right hand corner as well. So I'm going to be finding out what that is in the near future. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a quite a long gameplay session, over an hour and a half. I tried my best to kind of explain what was kind of going on, and as you can see at the end it got quite frantic and stuff, but it's really satisfying once you start connecting the dots early to build up your settlement. And as I said, that wasn't the hardest difficulty setting, so if it looked like it was potentially a bit too easy, as you venture out more and deeper, I think the game gets harder anyway, but also I had the extra sort of an additional Viceroy difficulty there to opt into. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys want to see more of this kind of gameplay, then do let me know. I'm more than happy to do more of this type of content. So yeah, just let me know and I'll do it. And that was Against the Storm. As I said, you can get that on Steam as well. So take care, all the best, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.